Greetings, unsettled souls, and welcome back to The Correct Views. Sam IB of the media, Sam IB reporting for the Media Speaks, and rather stumbling over my report for the Media Speaks. Guys, do me a favor, go to my last video, because it in part, it didn't destroy my computer, but my liquid props seem to have gotten stuck into the keyboard. So now, since my space bar doesn't work, I'm using an external. So do me a favor, go to the last video. It's the Matt Winklejohn Resist the Tyranny parody video that I did. And guys, check out a lot of the work. Some of the stuff I've been posting, like the Fukushima stuff, has gotten a huge response. And other things like, the stop and frisk policy in New York City has been null and void. I talk about it on my site. I have an entire show about police abuse that has not gotten the kind of attention that I think that it should. And before anyone thinks it becomes a hate fest on police, it does not. But I guess what I'm trying to say is make sure you go and check out a lot of the works. I do this a lot. Subscribe to the channel. Let me know you're watching. Give me your comments, because the more often you do, the more you'll see me out here. And here we go. That's pretty much it in a nutshell. Guys, I did an entire show about the poisons and the toxins and the death that we are being fed. And the reason I did it isn't because I expect my pop to be a health food, because I don't. However, we know that sugar is bad for you. I'm going to get to that in a minute. But when you can use things that are at least healthier than high fructose corn syrup, why would you use it? They're using high fructose corn syrup to keep the price of the pop to make down, so that it's cheaper for you to buy. Well, if I told you that urine was really cheap to buy, would you want to buy it? Urine is healthier for you than most of the things I'm about to read to you. So before anybody leaves, a negative comment about what I expect nutrition to be, I don't expect great nutrition from my sodas and my junk food, but I do expect them not to use toxins. If they are going to use toxins, I think that they should be labeled. And again, I have no problem with tobacco. You know, tobacco's bad for you, its label's bad for you, done. That's not what we're talking about here. Just listen to this. This is from thenaturalsociety.com. PepsiCo's naked juice to drop all natural label after $9 million class action lawsuit. What we are ingesting is so bad for us that the only way to get us to consume it now is to lie. So many of us have woken up to exactly what's in this stuff that it's creating a cut in their market share, which again, at the end of the day, is all that they really care about. And you can prove that in that there are ingredients that are illegal in the UK and in Europe and in other countries. But for some reason, some would argue eugenics, the poison is perfectly legal in the United States of America. Why might that be? Well, right there it proves that they're able to make it without these toxins in it. But now they're going to lie just to get you to buy it. And this is particularly nasty because, as you can see, these were labeled as healthy. Well, let's just see how healthy they in fact are. While government agencies like the FDA keep stalling on demanding rigorous scientific testing of numerous questionable ingredients, GMO foods, and the correct labeling of such foods, PepsiCo has recently agreed to settle out of court for $9 million over a class action lawsuit that claimed natural and non-GMO on their bottles was misleading, since they were made with GMO ingredients as well as synthetic and unnatural items. For those of you new to the topic, GMOs, genetically modified organisms, are extremely unhealthy. And you can prove this by the number of countries such as India that has barred them. And look up GMO French rats. D-Lake, shout out to D-Lake. Look that up, because it will give you everything you need to know about what I'm talking about here. The plaintiffs in the suit claimed that PepsiCo gave the false impression that the beverage's vitamin content is due to nutritious fruits and juices, rather than the added synthetic compounds as calcium polyphenate, which is synthetically produced from formaldehyde. That's embalming fluid, yes it is. Fibersol 2, it's a proprietary synthetic digestin-resistant fiber produced by Archer Daniels Midland, which is notoriously been questionable for a long time, and developed by a Japanese chemical company. And then something I can barely pronounce, it looks like fructologosaccharides, a synthetic fiber and sweetener. And inulin, an artificial and invisible fiber added to foods to increase the fiber content without that fiber in your mouth feel. Now, for those of you that wonder why I just read all that, how much of that do you think comes picked off a tree? All natural, non-genetically modified. Now, I don't care if you are absolutely, say you personally listening to this don't care. That's fine. Do you like being lied to? Do you? Because you were. Even if you don't care about being lied to this time, what else are they lying about that maybe you do care about? The plaintiffs in the suit, I already read that one. The amount of synthetic additives in naked juices are quite possibly more than anything natural and all. It certainly isn't 100% juice as a smoothie, as the labeling on the bottle currently states. Naked juices contain up to 11 different chemicals, including niacinamide, D-alpha, and I'm not going to read all those, it's an eye chart, but go to Natural Society and you'll see it. I am going to say here, so I can find it real quick. Just don't forget what all Pepsi actually owns and what all they own, where is it? Frito-Lay chips, Tropicana juices, Quaker Oats, and Gatorade. These things are made by PepsiCo, and they're toxic. They are absolutely toxic. And let's not forget, Pepsi donated $2.5 million to defeat a labeling initiative called Proposition 37 in California that would have made them label GMOs. And again, you're watching a very libertarian show. I don't care what people do to their own bodies as long as they know in fact that they are doing it. My problem is the non-stop lies. And that's a great example, and here's another one. For anyone that thinks Coke's going to do any better for you, we'll just call this up here. There you go. When you see this in the store, avoid it like the plague. And again, I'm going to admit to something here. I do drink pop from time to time if I'm drinking rum and Coke. However, that's about it. I used to drink copious amounts of pop. Before I get into this article too, I'll teach you right now how to quit drinking so much pop. I'll tell you exactly how I did it. Go vitamin water, Life water. If you find a generic version, get a generic version. I'm not saying go buy Life water. They don't give me any money. Why should I help them? I am going to say this. The bottle. Vitamin A, calcium, niacin, vitamin B12, vitamin C, vitamin E, vitamin B6. Guys, health in a bottle. Now, does it have high fructose corn syrup and sugar? Variations, yes it does. Is it the ultimate health drink that's never going to hurt you? No. But as I have tapered off my pop, I have found that these have me feeling a lot healthier. I'm that and some of the other vitamins, which are all very cheap, I promise you. Look up how to avoid the common cold on themediaspeaks.com. It's an article I wrote. And the way I gave it up to finish what I promised, every time I'm craving a pop, because I work in a nightclub where I'm allowed to drink the non-alcoholic drinks. I can use the gun. I'm allowed to do all that. Because I talk every 3 minutes. I go ahead and I get juice, coffee, cranberry juice, whatever I can squirt out of the gun. If I'm craving a pop, I grab a glass and I squirt it to the top with pop. And every other time that I'm not absolutely dying for it, I don't drink it. Sometimes I get trapped into it at the amusement park that we go to, but that's not my choice. My point being, it's if you find something else that you like that's healthy, drink it non-stop and only drink the pop when you're craving it. And I promise you, your pop will decrease greatly if you make a conscious effort to do it. Now when I don't have one of my waters with me, I feel like I'm losing my mind. And this is from NBCnews.com. Coke to defend safety of aspartame in Chicago ad. First of all, we had Pepsi. who I do believe owns Taco Bell and Kentucky Fried Chicken. I might be wrong, that might have been sold, so don't quote me on it. But look that up, I think. At least they used to. You got PepsiCo lying about what's in their juices. Now, Coca-Cola can't say that there isn't aspartame. It's the artificial sweetener that's in diet and even some non-diet products now. It is made from bacteria poop. If you don't believe me, look up how to make aspartame, and you'll see that it is in fact made from synthetic bacteria poop. It's been linked to so many problems. I mean, type in aspartame health problems. You'll find right away that so many articles and scientific studies have proved this stuff to be toxic. And then you will clearly see that the only people that are sticking up for it are people in the industry. You find very few doctors that enjoy a diet pop. I know when my dad was sick at the Cleveland Clinic, which has really gone downhill. I don't suggest it for anyone. The Cleveland Clinic, when they switched over, they took all the pop out of all the vending machines, everything, and the only kind of pop you can get is diet. And doctors, were talking about that it was as unhealthy as anything else. Most doctors do not encourage you to drink diet pop unless you're trying to lose weight and you're simply addicted to the sweeter poison. I'm going to read this to you. It's by Candace Choi. Coca-Cola plans to run its first ad defending the safety of artificial sweeteners on Wednesday, a move that comes as the company looks to stem declining sales of diet soda. Yeah, as more and more people realize that it's poison. The print ad is set to run in USA Today in the Atlanta area, followed by the Atlanta Journal-Constitution on Thursday and the Chicago Tribune next week. It says that diet drinks can help people manage their weight and stresses the scientific evidence showing the safety of aspartame, which is more commonly found under the NutraSweet brand name. I'll tell you one thing, and look up, and again, before you go say, well, I'm drink regular pop, look up what high fructose corn syrup does. I've already alluded to it. But my dad was a non-drinker, non-drugger at all. My dad never so much as smoked a joint. I'd seen him drunk a handful of times in my whole life, and easily not within the last 10 years of his life. He became a diabetic, and in my opinion, that's what did him in. Because he went from an unhealthy diet to a healthy diet, which consisted of non-stop diet rate version, made the generic knockoff from that crap store Walmart. God rest his soul, he loved that stupid, idiotic, country-killing store. And he died of gallbladder and liver cancer. That's usually found among drug addicts, AIDS patients, drinkers, heavy drinkers. It's also found in many studies to be linked to aspartame. And he put it in everything. I mean, he used sugar in a lot of things, and then he switched to this. He's putting NutraSweet in his, he was Italian, putting NutraSweet in his spaghettis, and he's not with us anymore. He didn't even make it to 70 years old. What does 10 or 12 years of that diet do to you? I don't know. It's not very common that you find liver cancer in non-drinkers. Yes, it happens. It's not common. The print ad in the USA Today in the Atlanta area, followed by the Atlanta Journal-Constitution on Thursday. That's insane. Coke is trying to get out front and proactively defend these diet sweeteners, said John Schitcher, editor of Beverage Digest, which tracks the industry. It says that Coca-Cola is trying to reassure people that the low-calorie drinks are not harmful. In fact, sales of diet sodas are falling faster than regular sodas, and it gives some statistics that I won't bore you with. The declines come even though the Food and Drug Administration, and you can see why Ron Paul has found this, to get rid of them. People laughed at him, and now I think it's becoming abundantly clear why he wanted to do so. It says that aspartame may be safely used in foods as a sweetener, and the ingredient can be found in a wide variety of other types of food and drinks. The American Cancer Society says that studies have found that aspartame is not linked to an increase in cancer. But it's really interesting that every study except theirs pretty much has said that it has. In a nod to the various concerns over artificial sweeteners, it goes on, Coca-Cola and rival PepsiCo are also working to come up with a drink that uses natural low-calorie sweeteners. Just as soon as they're done getting rid of all the poison that they can possibly sell for as cheaply as possible. They also don't want to admit to anything and open themselves up to a lawsuit to all the people from all the people who don't have loved ones anymore because these companies killed them. I mean, it is what it is, guys. You can't get any clearer than that. They're now releasing propaganda like Goebbels Hitler. Just tell them it is good, mein Führer. Tell them it is good. Yeah, it's a wonderful idea. And then, we're dropping like flies of diseases that don't fit the lifestyles that we've lived. Here's another one, and this is from the LA Times. Scientists say sugar at levels considered safe is in fact harmful. This is a nightmare because I do ingest sugar. I have a sweet tooth. I've always been a tad on the chubby side. I just like it. Compared to what I used to consume of it, non-existent. It's not even on the chart. However, it's something that I've always battled with much more than most people, I think. But it gets easier and easier when you learn this stuff. It really does. When mice were fed a diet that was 25% added sugar, writes Mary McVean, an amount consumed by many humans, the females died twice the normal rate, and the males were less likely to reproduce and hold territory, scientists said in a study published Tuesday. Well, let's see, what are we finding? We're finding that women are dying younger than they were, and we're finding that men are having trouble acting like men. Homosexuality is on the rise, and some of it is thought to be chemically induced, if you like. Look up bisphenol A homosexuality. Am I saying that all gay, I'm going to get talking about gay people here, but am I saying that all gay people are in fact poisoned into being gay? Absolutely not. Some people are born, and from the moment they're born, they're gay, and I believe that totally. However, we're not finding this in women. And it looks like a lot of the sugar we're eating is creating hyperfemininity in men. Again, I'm not talking about any other instance of gay other than the ones that are chemically induced. It also finds that men are, a lot of times you hear, well, I have unprotected sex all the time and the girl never gets pregnant. The study shows that added sugar consumed by concentrations currently considered safe exerts dramatic impacts on the mammalian health. For those of you Kesha fans, that would be mammals, that would be us. This was from the researchers and what they said in the study published in the journal Nature Communications. Many researchers have already made calls for reevaluation of these safe levels of consumption. The mice lived in semi-natural enclosures, and in the experimental and control groups lived in direct competition with each other. After being fed 2 diets for 26 weeks, the mice lived for 32 weeks in mouse barns, enclosures of 377 square feet rigged by 3 2-foot walls. There were some nesting areas that were more desirable than others. It said they were fed sodas and cookies and candies and things like that. Added sugars are those added sugars that are hidden in preparation, not ones that you'll find naturally, it says, in fruit and milk. These got sugars that were half fructose and half glucose monosaccharides, which is about what's found in high fructose corn syrup, which I was just talking about again. Mice do not eat sugar as part of their normal diet, so the authors are measuring a contrived overload. Basically what they're trying to say is since mice don't normally eat sugar, then of course it killed them. They're missing is that we're not supposed to be eating this much sugar either. And they tried to use the results to counter, and instead they proved the point that the entire study had. So basically, guys, cutting down your sugar is imperative, but making absolute sure that that sugar is not high fructose corn syrup is even more important. I got one more article I want to get to after I invite you to go to themediaspeaks.com and click on the Bud K catalog. When you do, you will find the most amazing things. They've got all kinds of cool stuff here. The Master Key Locksmith, Auto Jinglers Door Opener, $19.99. They've got Shinwa Black Knight, Black Cord, Damascus Ninja Katana Swords. They've got camping and survival equipment. They've some of them go to some of the camping stuff real quick. Survival food. I thought that the previous advertiser we had was good. No, it doesn't. This is even better. Survivor tabs, chocolate, $25.99. Wise 72-hour emergency kit, $36.95. You can eat for 3 days in an emergency for under $40. You can't beat that. Go to Bud K. Please do that via themediaspeaks.com, because when you do, they give us some money, and that is what funds us. That's the only way we can keep going. Does that mean I'm only advertising Bud K because they're paying us? No. We don't bring advertisers on here that have garbage. The point is, when you support the advertiser through the sites, you support us. Last thing I want to get to, I found this linked on Drudge Report and InfoWars. I'm not going to say where the article is from. You can find it at Drudge Report under the name Toilet to Tap Water Purification Coming to South Bay. That is the punishment that I put on all websites that continually refresh and refresh and refresh. You don't get mentioned on the show. Ha! I didn't plagiarize you at all. It is written, in fact, with the name, again, I gave you the name of it. You can find it yourself. Tap the Toilet Water Purification Coming to South Bay. Don't like that? Good. Quit making your sites annoying, jerks. This is the source for Santa Clara County's newest, cleanest, and virtually limitless water is the new $68 million sewage treatment plant near Avicio, but the ultra-clean water won't be going into homes due to the stigma regarding recycled water. The new Silicon Valley Advanced Water Purification Center will open this fall, but due to public perceptions, the water from the plant will be diverted for use in fire hydrants, landscaping, and electrical fountains instead of homes. The reason I wanted to point this out is, A, we have the technology to make sewer water drinkable. Now, we know that the Life Straw and things like that have actually proven, in fact, that you can do that in a relatively healthy manner. What's their trick here? Are they adding a lot of chemicals? I'm interested from anybody in the field that might know. But so far, the sewer water is, in fact, better for you than Coke or Pepsi. And, I can't stress that enough. I'm going to go ahead and call this up for you real quick, as soon as I figure out how to work my own computer. Here we go. Now, that right there you go. That's what you need to do to your soda, because the sewer water that's purified is healthier for you than the pop. It takes a long time to educate folks and grasp this concept that this water can be purified to a level that's cleaner than what we are already drinking. I believe that wholeheartedly, actually. That was said by Mary Grimes of the Santa Clara Valley Water District. And the reality is that we are able to produce water that is cleaner than all of the other water sources. It'll produce, the plant, 8 million gallons of water a day, keeping the 3-step process of microfiltration, reverse osmosis, and ultraviolet light, which zaps away impurities. Last paragraph. Fresh water is expensive and in short supply during drought years, so this water may someday be a resource that people can tap. You know what? Compared to what we consume, I don't have a huge problem with it. Now, if there's an expert in the field that can tell me why this is going to be a dreadful idea, I'm all ears, because I can see how it could be, what's the respectability of the company that's doing it, for one. Who are they tied to? Who lines their pockets? What industries do they feel the need to suck up to? What other questions would there be? Obviously, when are you using it? I mean, if God forbid the place has no water at all and this is an option, well, that'd be great. I think that something to save lives is different than just doing it to save money. So those are some interesting thoughts for the day. Guys, do me a favor and go to themediaspeaks.com, look up the work of Kyle Court, D. Lake, and myself. Please donate to the show if you can, because every penny that you give me goes towards a better show. I just redid the whole set. If you go to my site and see some of my early videos, you'll see. And go to the Charity Connection. Miss Mobley Christ, Dana Mobley Christ, D-A-N-E-A, easy for me to say. She runs it. She's been sick. She's got lung cancer. And this is somebody who's been raising money to help many people with cancer for a long time. So she can't cure us unless, of course, we get her cured. So let's do it. Good night, friends. God bless, and thank you for listening.